something interesting today. So today is like amazing for a number of different reasons, right? Today is 12:12, so the hour is long, but I refuse to shut my eyes before coming on live. So I'm live right now on Facebook and Instagram. So you may see me looking around a little bit. So if you're catching this, you're seeing this part, you're probably watching the replay. Hey, thank you for stopping by. You definitely want to listen in. If you're here with me live, do me a favor and say, hey, I see both networks notifying people. So if you're here with me live, do me a favor and say, hey, D, something so that I know that you're here. Um, so like I was saying, today is 12/12, and today is special because not only because it's 12/12, but today is the 4 year anniversary of me establishing the Danielle the Coach brand formally. And so it's been a little emotional. I've been so busy all day that I really haven't had a chance to sit with it. But once I finally had a chance to sit with it, I did get a little bit emotional because when I tell y'all full time entrepreneurship has been a roller coaster, every dip, turn, drop, climb, all of the things. It has been a literal roller coaster ride. The ebbs and flows have come and gone, and some have been harder than others. And don't get me wrong, there have been successes, right? There have been highlights, there have been highs. However, it has been a literal journey of one putting one foot in front of the other, figuring this thing out. Um, by any means necessary, right? And not by myself. I have a phenomenal support system that I talk about all the time. Could not have done it without them. And most of the time, it's been moral support, right? Charging the battery in my back, telling me to get up and go get what's mine, take my rest, give myself grace, feel my feels, cry my tears. Me being a high achiever and a go getter, wanting things when I want them, right? And not really being the most patient. Hey, E, I see you, but being committed to it and just having some additional positive forces to help me fight the resistance that comes with being a creative, fight the resistance that comes with full-time entrepreneurship. This thing ain't easy, y'all. It's doable, but it's definitely not easy. And so today, when I just finally had a moment to sit with it not too long ago, I'm just like, wow, like I'm still here. I'm still glowing and growing. Not quite where I want to be. There's other things that I want to do, boxes that I want to check, boxes that I will check, but Lord willing, right? And that's just me being the high achiever, me being the go-getter that I am, which is why I attract who I attract. But I'm not where I started. And I said this to someone earlier today. I said, thank God I'm not just getting started today. Thank God I'm not just getting started today. I'm so glad I took a leap of faith 4.5 years ago. And that 4 years ago today, I went to the SEC's website and established my entities, right? And so knowing what I know now, of course, hindsight is 2020, right? Are there things I wish I knew 4 years ago today that I know now? Absolutely. And would I pay handsomely to kind of have this 4 years worth of knowledge? Um, have had all of this back then? Listen, in a heartbeat, in a heartbeat. But what I also know is that having another conversation with a fellow entrepreneur today is that you can't get the clarity that you desire without putting in the work, right? Without trying some things, without being exposed to some things, without ruminating, probably to your exhaustion about some things, and also taking your foot off the gas and being still and listening for direction from God. Like it's all a part of the process. It builds your faith, it builds your capacity, it builds your wisdom. It's the gift that keeps on giving. It sucks royally when you are in the midst of it and all you want is the answer, all you want is the clarity so that you just can go do what you want to do and what you need to do and do it at a high level because that's what you do. So when you don't have that clarity outright, it does something to you. It makes you question, your ability. It makes you question whether or not you did the right thing. It makes you question whether or not you're worthy. It makes you question whether or not you need to go update your resume and start submitting that thing in every place that takes resumes. It will really play tricks on your mind. But let me tell you something. The moment the clarity comes, the game changes. The game changes in more ways than three, right? Alex said entrepreneurship is no joke. It's a journey like no other. It's no joke at all whatsoever. And it's not all hard and heavy either. But I'm here to say that 4 years later, your girl is still here. I'm still ticking. I'm still committed. I'm still trying to figure this out. Um, and I tell you even something funny. Somebody sent me a job posting today, and they said, do you have this skill set?" So the job was like a $300,000 job, right? So I'm thinking to myself, of all the days for somebody to randomly send me a job application, a job posting, they send it today just out of curiosity if I have these particular skill sets for this $300,000 job. Like the money sounds amazing, right? But I'm like, what a distraction. I mean, I take it as a compliment for them seeing something in me and my ability, right, based on what they read on the posting. But I'm like, my goodness. And don't get me wrong, I would never knock a 9 to 5, right? I made my decision. I made my leap when I made my leap because I did what I felt I needed to do and what I was called to do in order to get to where I am and also where I'm going, to be able to serve who it is that I am supposed to be serving and serve those who are divinely assigned to me. There's levels to it. And yes, on this journey, I have absolutely looked at jobs. I have absolutely applied for at least one job and interviewed. When I was in the season, I absolutely did. And I think I've told that story a time or two. It might have been on Instagram Live or maybe an interview or something. I've shared that. Like, no shame about it. It is what it is. I'm thankful that for that, in that particular instance, after 3 rounds of interviews, they decided that they went with somebody else because they said they thought I would get bored. And when I tell you that not even a month and a half later, after that opportunity was no more, the floodgates opened up for me. I promise you, I was so thankful that job did not come through because I wouldn't have had the time to spend in the space where things started to open up for me that I had because I was in control of my schedule and my time and whatever I'm doing, career wise. And so this entrepreneurship thing is, baby, it will show you what you're made of. And I'm just glad to be able to say that 4 years in, like I'm still here. I'm super thankful for that. And so if you're looking at me watching this on Facebook, you see that I titled the video "Life Coaching is a Scam." And I did that because I actually spoke to someone today. Actually, I had a shift experience that if you've been following me here recently, that's all I've been talking about. So the shift experience was tonight. It was amazing. And I had one person register, right? And so it's not the first time that it's been just someone solo, right? And they were surprised when they got there. They had me all to themselves. And so I've done it with one person before. So today was no different, right? Whoever is supposed to be there is supposed to be there. And when I tell you, like the timing was divine in more ways than three, everything happened how it was supposed to happen, right? And the beauty of it was that the my now client, right, who showed up, she almost didn't come. She almost didn't come because she was so burnt out, just so like over everything, and just was about to count herself out and chalk this one up to, an opportunity that just passed her by, right? She left the experience so thankful and so grateful that she leaned in and pressed against the resistance and still showed up for herself, even though she was a bit defunct and like jaded, right? And so we talked about a lot, of course, because we had time because it was the two of us. But I still took her through the shift experience, and my goodness, the light bulbs that started going off. my goodness, the way her energy transformed from how she showed up to the call, right? To how she left, like feeling revived and being excited about possibility, and not just some cookie cutter possibility, but what's possible for her based on what she wants to do and her individualized goals and dreams, right? And sis had me to herself, so you know it was guns blazing on my end. Like it was up from there. But one thing that she said to me was that she's had conversations about um life coaching with people in her sphere of influence, and somebody said to her, or maybe it's somebody's, a couple people have, kind of have reservations about coaching, life coaching, and what it is, and even have gone to the extent of saying, like, I don't know, I think that seems like a scam. It seems like a scam, right? And she's followed me for some time, and there's like this trust factor that she's like, well, yeah, but I know somebody, and I don't think she's a scammer, right? And so while I was thankful for having that built-in credibility, it says a lot about the work that I do in the space that we're in, where there are people out here that are not doing right by others, right? But then you have people like me who not only have the gift, but also have integrity and really want to see you flourish, want to see you come to life, just like my client tonight that came in just like, listen, I'm here, I'm barely here, I don't know, I'm gonna see what you got for me. But yeah, I almost didn't come, to leaving with a fresh battery, not just a recharge battery, a fresh battery in her back, ready to go get what's hers. So I wanted to talk about that. Like, so if you feel like life coaching is a scam, I get it, because there's scammers in every industry, right? But it also takes you trusting yourself, trusting your gut, you doing your research, asking the right questions, and to educate yourself on what it is that's unfamiliar. Because a lot of, I think, the mistrust, a lot of the uncertainty comes from a space of just not knowing, because there's a lack of experience in going through the process or working with a life coach. And I say this all the time, especially when I'm interviewed on like podcasts or wherever I might show up. I equate coaching now, especially life coaching, to what therapy was maybe a decade ago, especially in the African American community, right? At one point, it was taboo. At one point, it was something that we didn't talk about. At one point, it was something that we actually shunned as a culture. Of course, that's not everybody, but I'm speaking culturally. Now we have evolved into a space where therapy is something that we talk about like we breathe, right? We tout, I need a therapist. You need a therapist too. We joke about it. It's a part of conversation. We see it all over social media. Um, and it's more widely accepted by the day in our community, in the African American community, especially communities of color. So now the first cousin to therapy, in my opinion, is coaching, is life coaching. Here comes life coaching, and here we go. It's the cycle. Here we go all over again. But it's actually the cycle of innovation, right? And although life coaching isn't a new phenomenon, it's new in communities of color. Okay, it's new in communities of color. But when it comes to innovation, there's always a range of adoption. You have your early adopters, you have those that need a little bit of social proof, and then they'll put their toe in the pool. Then you have your late adopters. It's just par for the course. And I want to say, fortunately and unfortunately for me, I got in on it, I feel, early in the game, early on that innovation spectrum, as a coach of color, right? As a Black woman, um, in this space. And so I know for a fact that when I started coaching and I started talking about coaching on social media, there was nobody in my sphere of influence who was talking about coaching. Nobody. And maybe I just wasn't connected to nobody. Now, because of how I've shown up in spaces I put myself in as a coach to continue to learn business, right? And all in marketing and all of these things, I have rubbed elbows with lots of other coaches because we're showing up in the same places, right? So now my connections on social media have diversified, and it even seems like, oh, there's a lot of people, that are doing coaching. And actually, it's still not. We're still underrepresented in the space. And this is why I will continue to do the work that I do. I'm not just a life coach, I'm a life and a leadership coach. I have put myself out on the limb to do both, right? Probably stretching myself too thin, but this is why I equate what I'm doing and how I'm doing it to kind of giving birth to twins. Women have twins. Twins are not what's the term I want to they're not as, yeah, they're like a phenomenon, right? But they're common. Twins are common. And women who bear multiples, they figure it out, right? Is it a little bit more challenging? Yeah, you got more than one person to be responsible for, right? For me, I have more than one entity to be responsible for, but it's doable, right? It's doable. God, He qualifies the call, and I feel like I'm being qualified every single day. So if you've been praying for me, I thank you. I feel your prayers. I've been feeling them lately because I haven't been as distraught probably in the last year that as I was in 2022. Um, but yeah, so I mean, I get it, and if you feel like life coaching is a scam, or maybe you've been considering it, but you've been a little and forgive me, it's late and my brain is fried. You've been a little leery about it. I get it. I get it, right? This is why I offer strategy sessions. This is why I post when I post what I post to educate. This is why I have a whole YouTube channel. This is why we have Google. And I know a big part of the problem is, well, okay, maybe I do want a life coach, right? But now where do I find one? Well, you know me. If you're here, you see me now. You can't unsee me. I may not be the coach for you, and that's okay too. But I encourage you to do what you got to do to get the support and the help and accountability that you need to get where you're going. Because yeah, you can do things on your own. You're a go-getter, right? Especially if you are connected to me. I mean, it just is what it is. But it doesn't mean that we don't need help. It doesn't mean that we don't need accountability. And quite frankly, when I hired my first life coach, it was when I was still gainfully employed in my six-figure federal government career. I felt like my life was literally out of control. It was out of my control. I felt like I was a leaf blown in the wind, going whichever way the wind took me. And that was very uncomfortable and very unsettling for me. And so I decided to do something about it. Now, me being, again, the high achieving go getter that I am, and committed to doing what it takes even when the going gets tough. And to be honest with you, I think it's in my DNA. Like, as a Black woman, it's how we're wired. And it's historical. Okay. So it's a thing, but I buckled down, continued to do the work that I felt like I needed to do. And by the time I ended up working with my own life coach, I had already figured out what I wanted to do next. I just needed that support and accountability to keep me honest about the goal that I had set, which was to, in fact, become a coach myself, right? But I wanted to go get certified. I wanted to go, yeah, get certified and trained professionally to refine my gift that I had realized I already had to coach. I just didn't know it had a title. So if I hadn't hired a life coach, would I be a coach today? Maybe. Would I have been a coach as soon as I became one? Probably not, because it would have been super easy to go home after commuting 2 hours each way, working 9.5 hours, get home about 7:30, 8 o'clock p.m., and kick my feet up and just do nothing because I'm exhausted and I got to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning the next day to do it again. If I was left to my own vices, I would have kicked my feet up and said, I'll do it tomorrow. And who knows how many days I would have done that. And then tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. Right. But I knew that I needed a me for me in that season. And so I did what I had to do. And I invested in the support and accountability that I needed in order to check the box and subsequent boxes that I needed to check in order to create the life of my wildest dreams. So today on 1212, I am celebrating me. I'm celebrating Danielle, the coach. I am celebrating the Airment Group because we're still here. We're still here and we're still getting started. We're also celebrating, so I'm celebrating that, celebrating my client who went through the shift experience today, who pushed herself and showed up and got this good work, right? And it was all worth it. And last but not least, I'm also in the spirit of 1212. We're just getting started. And so I am inviting you to kickstart your 2024 in a way that maybe you've never kickstarted a year before, right? I have an opportunity for you that I am calling Momentum 2024, which is a 30-day coaching, support, and accountability. Um, you can call it a program, if you will, right? It was an experience, right? We start the new year, how you want to finish it. And so I'm working with you to support you in doing in 30 days or less what you haven't been able to do in all of 2023. That is the goal. We all know how the new year goes. You set your resolutions, you make your list for the year, you come in hot the first week, maybe the first two. By the third or fourth week in January, life is lifing, like life always lives. And you get to deprioritizing yourself, you get to pushing something off until February. That February point gets pushed to April. Why? Because you got time, right? No, we're not doing that. So it's nothing wrong with checking boxes early. And I'm totally a fan of that. It gives you the extra spunk that you've been missing. It allows you to flex a little bit throughout the year because you started the year doing what you said that you were going to do. You started the year off on a high note, right? So Momentum 2024 actually starts now, right? With you making the decision. And then you can coast for the rest of December. And so we'll meet bi-weekly. We'll have bi-weekly support and accountability calls, coaching and accountability calls for the month of January. And believe it or not, if you haven't experienced coaching, you may or may not understand the power and also what's necessary in between sessions for you to calibrate based on what happened in the previous coaching session, right? And to go and act upon what you said that you committed to doing. What I know is that you are not short of ideas. What I know is that you are not short of motivation. What I know is that you are lacking execution in the way that you know you really want to execute, not that hit or miss stuff. And I know that you're missing accountability. And yes, people pay for accountability all the time. Those that get it, get it, and they continue to get it, and they make it a lifestyle. So, what I'm doing is making the lifestyle accessible to you for the month of January, right? To do in 30 days or less, which you haven't been able to do in 2023. Like that's the energy that we're on, okay? And so here's what you get: bi-weekly coaching calls, and then what I'm bonusing in is a private momentum session so that we can tailor what you desire in our time together to your lifestyle. And yeah, it'll be a little challenging, but you can also do it, especially with my support and my accountability. So you're actually going to start with a private momentum session as a bonus. We'll kick off the coaching calls on January 9th. Then another bonus I'm adding in is access to my bi-weekly winner circle coaching calls. Okay. So instead of only meeting twice plus your private momentum session, you'll actually be meeting with me weekly in the month of January. It does come at a cost, and the investment is $1,212. In the spirit of 1212, I'm gonna carry that on forward, right? All of what I just shared, from the bi-weekly coaching and accountability calls, which are in a group format, just to be clear, the private momentum session that you're going to get as a bonus, and access to the bi-weekly winner circle calls. The value is at $3,500. I'm letting you in for $1,212. So if you're watching on Facebook, the link is in the caption. If you're watching on Instagram, the link is going to be in my bio in just a moment. That's one thing I forgot to do before I went live. I digress. Like, this thing ain't perfect, but done is better than perfect. It is about to be done in just a minute. So if you click there and you don't see the link, just DM me, and then I'll make sure to send you the link directly. If you get here and you don't see it in my bio, just DM me the word momentum. You don't even have to say a whole lot. I get how that goes as an introvert. Just DM me momentum. I won't think it's rude, because this is exactly what I'm asking you to do. And I'll send you the link so you can have the information and you can lock in. I have space for 10. One spot is already gone. So there's 9 spots available. I want 2024 to be the year that you come for everything that your heart desires. I want 2024 for you to be the year that you take some of those lofty goals off the shelf, that you take some of those big dreams that you have pushed, you've kicked the ball down into the future. I want you, that 2024 to be the year that you prioritize those things. And if you're prioritizing those things, that means you're prioritizing you, because you matter. You matter. And so every time that you put something else, something or someone else before you, and don't get me wrong, you may be partner, you may be a parent, you may be a guardian. I get it, but you only get one life. You only get one life, and you deserve to check some of your own boxes while still loving and serving others. And believe it or not, when you start prioritizing you, you show up differently for those that you love and that you're here to serve and protect and provide for as well. It's the gift that keeps on giving. So if you know that you've been pulled many different ways and you're ready for something to change, if you are tired of having these goals and these things that you want to do undone another year for another year, if you are tired of trying to figure it out by yourself, I want to let you know you're too close to it. And you also might not have the right support and accountability. No knock to your circle or your personal board of directors. However, they might not understand you wanting to do some of the things that you are doing and some of the things that you want to do. It's not for them to understand. It's not even for me to understand. But what's understood on my end is that you get to dream big, you get to think big, you get to believe big, and you get to go after it in a big way. My job is not to judge what it is that you want to do, as long as you're not trying to hurt yourself or somebody else. Whatever you want to do is whatever you want to do. I am here to put a barrier around you and your dream, right? To hold you accountable and keep you in alignment with what it is that you said that you want, so you can actually realize the dream and bring these things to life one at a time. And you never know, a couple things might come through at one time. We never know. But whatever you desire is possible. Whatever is no longer serving you is no longer serving you, right? Whatever you need to quit, but whether it's behaviors, patterns, thoughts, relationships, if it's a job, we're putting together your exit strategy and we're putting it in motion. The person that came to the shift experience tonight isn't quite ready to leave their job. They don't know if they want to quit their job to do full-time entrepreneurship. They still need an exit strategy because they want to leave the position that they're in, like they're going places. An exit strategy is still required, and her exit strategy is already in motion because she came to the shift experience. Listen, I don't care what it is that you need to leave. I got you. I got you. And if there's something about me, if there's something that you feel like that's here that you need to explore it, and you're feeling a little uneasy, it might even be for the price point. I get it, but let me tell you this: it's just money, and everybody's not ready for that conversation. I get it, but it's just money, and you're worth it. you're worth it. Again, it's $3,500 in value for 1212, $1,212. In the spirit of today, which is today for just maybe 20 more minutes. But in the spirit of 1212, like I don't take this anniversary lightly. And I know what's in store for you when you choose you, like your wildest dreams. So I'm gonna get off here. I have no idea how long it's been. I guess about 30 minutes now. I didn't plan on that, but clearly I had some things I had to get off my chest. If you caught the replay, don't forget to type replay in the comments wherever you are watching this, and I'll come back through and show you some love. If you're on Instagram and you are interested in enrolling in Momentum 2024, just shoot me a DM right now. Don't even wait for me to go add the link. Just shoot me a DM and say Momentum, and as soon as I'll send you the link directly because I don't have it in my bio yet. But and if you're catching a replay, it should be in my bio by the time you see this. So that's how we're going to do that. If you're watching with me live and you're interested, DM me right now and say Momentum. Only on Instagram. If you're on Facebook, then the link is already in the caption. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for those who choose to enroll. There's only space for 10. There's 9 spots left. 2024 is up. Like, you coming with me or not? I'll see you later.